to the 2018 All Candidates Forum for the municipal election. All of these people are running in the election that is coming up this month. Even though we cannot vote, these issues are still important and we will vote in the future. We would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the territory of the Denizah people. Welcome to all the local media who have joined us today. The format of our forum will include candidate introductions, candidate platforms, and questions that have been developed by Burt students. Candidates will have 30 seconds to introduce themselves and share their platforms, and 90 seconds to answer each question.
Now we will meet each of the candidates. They have 30 seconds to share a little bit about themselves. When each candidate finishes, pass the microphone to the candidate beside you. This is not a debate, and each person will have uninterrupted time to speak. Please welcome Trevor Bolin, Justin Jones, Byron Stewart, Chuck Fowler, Jim Harris, Gord Klassen, Lilia Hansen, Tony Zabinski, Becky Grimsred, Gabriel Harris, Larry Evans, and Bruce Christensen.
Hey guys, good morning. My name's Trevor Bolin. Thanks for coming to listen to us talk this morning. Big thanks to everybody who put the event on, and thanks to the media for showing up, and you guys, of course, for getting involved. I was born and raised in Fort St. John. I went to the exact same school when I was your age, although we went a year longer than you guys did. I've been on council for 10 years. I've lived in Fort St. John my whole life. Everything I do is about Fort St. John. I don't need a name tag. So why you should get involved in politics, why you should go home and tell your mom and dad to vote for a guy like me, is because I care. I care about what mom and dad pay for. Oh, am I already up? That was 30 seconds, so just get involved.
Hey everybody, Justin Jones. I've lived in Fort St. John for 2 years, moved up here from Calgary for work. Love the community, and what I think is great is you all sitting here asking us questions. I was interested in politics just a little bit older than you guys, but we never ever got the chance to do something like this. My politics came from my parents, and it was very unfortunate because I didn't get to make a decision for myself. So you guys have the ability to go home and influence your parents for your future, because it's you guys that are going to be growing up here in Fort St. John, and you guys will be voting. 5 seconds. And you guys will be voting in the future, so make sure you get involved, and great to see y'all.
Hi guys, my name is Byron Stewart. As was stated here a couple times, I'm on council now. I have been since 2011. I grew up here in Fort St. John. I remember being your age. Unfortunately, I didn't go to the school. I went to, Kearney. But however, as what's been stated, I'm very excited to tell you about myself and talk about our community. It is important for you to realize how our council affects you on a daily basis. So some of your questions that you've asked are very important, and you're going to get some answers from us. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for coming out. My name is Chuck Fowler. I'm born and raised in Fort St. John. I went to Burt Bowes School. I was from Charlie Lake, so nice to be back in Burt Bowes. Yeah, thanks for coming out. It's awesome to see you guys get involved in politics, in the municipal branch of politics. So some great questions we're going to answer, and there's a lot of people up here with a lot of expertise and a lot of good ideas, so let's have some fun today.
Morning, students and faculty that showed up, and the media, of course. My name is Jim Harris, and I'm running for a seat on City Council. I've lived here for 45 plus years. Like Byron, I went to the other school in town. So he's not alone, but still great to see this crowd, these students that get involved and talk to your parents at this level and move forward, staying involved in the community. That's what will make us even a better city. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Gord Klassen. I'm on City Council right now. Thank you for coming. I commend you for putting on this event. I love what you said in the introduction, that we will vote. And I hold you to that commitment. I grew up here, went to school here. I remember getting beat up just outside those doors there. Not a fond memory, but I'm glad to have this as my home, and just want to make it a better home for each one of us.
Good morning, Burt Bowes. I'm Lilia Hansen. Fort St. John is my hometown, proud to call it. Married a Burt Bowes boy. Fort St. John's important to me. I have children here. My mother is here. I'm going to work hard to make sure that there's a future for not only my family, but for you and for your family. So I hope to win you guys over. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending. My name is Tony Zabinski. I've been here for 22 and a half years, and I'm a banker, which everyone hates, but we're always necessary evil. The one thing I've got to tell you guys is to make sure that you guys think about all the political aspirations that you have that you might want to go at and vote for. So keep in mind when all these questions are done, is it really dear to your heart? Because it's dear to our heart because we care about this community. You guys care about the community, we care about the community, and together we'll make it a better place. Thank you.
Good morning, Burt Bowes. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to everyone who put this on. Moderators are doing a fantastic job so far. Thank you to the media for being here. My name's Becky Grimsrud. I'm running for a seat on City Council this year. I've been in Fort St. John for 13 years, originally moved up here after I got my helicopter license. I fly helicopters for a career and moved up here originally for work and just fell in love with the community and plan on living here for probably the rest of my life. So I appreciate you having us here, and I hope that you get something from this event and encourage you to get out and vote and take an interest in what's going on in your community. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Gabor Harris. I was born in Hungary. In 1987 I left Hungary. I moved to Italy where I lived until 1992 when I moved to Vancouver. I lived in Vancouver for 25 years and I moved here only last year. I thought I should get involved in this election because I believe that I do have new ideas that I could bring to this great community. I do like to live here, and I really hope that you will tell your parents to vote, and when you get to that age, you will get involved in politics as well. Thank you.
Good morning, Burt Bowes. My name is Larry Evans. I've lived in Fort St. John all the life I can remember. I was here the first year that Burt Bowes opened, and unlike Byron Stewart, I did all my schooling in Burt Bowes before they kicked me up into the high school. I just want to thank everybody here for coming out. This is very important. The running of Fort St. John is done by 7 people with a whole bunch of staff. And what I plan on doing and continue to do as I'm on council now is to make this a better place to live and a good place to call home. I'm proud of it. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Bruce Christensen. I've been a resident of Fort St. John. January 2nd will be 31 years. Love this place. I've been involved in the community, moved here to be involved in business. Retired 15 years ago. I am a present member of council, and I'm very honored to serve the citizens of this city as a council member, and very thankful that you invited us out this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. Now each individual will share some important issues to them.
All right, some important issues to me may not relate to you guys right now. They're going to relate to your mom and dad. We need to keep taxes low. We need to continue building the city. We need to continue to promote the industry that we serve, which is going to build us jobs so that when you guys get done school and do your college and do your university, which is very important, you can come back home to Fort St. John with your degree and be doctors or nurses or engineers or architects, because Fort St. John's at a pace that's what we're going to need. We're going to need you to come back and run this city, because by the time you guys are done university, most of us will be retired or we won't be in politics anymore, and we're going to turn it over to you. But you know what? We're still going to be here as part of the community, backing you guys as we go forward, because you are the voice and the face of Fort St. John. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. So I grew up in Medicine Hat, lived in Lethbridge, lived in Calgary before I moved here to Fort St. John. I just got back from Toronto at 2 o'clock in the morning last night, and to be honest, Fort St. John is home. It's a great community. You guys are lucky to live here, and what I want to do and push for is more things for people your age, and I'm a big kid at heart, so more things for me to do I'm only 28 years old, so more things to do at my age as well, and keep you and young families here. I want to stay here for many years. I have a 3.5-year-old and a 7-month-old, and I want them to grow up here and be able to enjoy what you guys can enjoy right now. So that's what I am pushing for. Thank you.
For myself, looking forward is always exciting. I'm at heart an optimist, and I believe that Fort St. John has a bright future, and you are all a part of that future. So what we've done for the last while on council is do a lot of work with our staff to create plans, a transportation plan, a parks and recreation plan, a downtown development plan. What I want now, as we shift into the next 4 years, I want to implement those plans and build our community for tomorrow. Take a look at where the downtown is, recreate it using your vision. We need input from you. On top of that, we need to celebrate how good we have it here. Things are very bright, and we need to brag about our community more and take pride in it. And everywhere we go on council, that's one of our roles. Tell people about Fort St. John, tell people how great it is to move here, grow your families here, get educated here, and have fun. So that is what I hope to continue to do. Thank you.
Well, a lot of us, your parents, spend 7 months of the year with a snow shovel in their hands, so it's important that we have a lot of indoor recreation. One of the things that's coming up is a new pool, possibly, or a new multiplex. So that's going to be important for us, for people like you to go and enjoy that, and families to enjoy that. Also, we had an exciting announcement with the LNG. That's a big thing for this region. If you guys know or don't know, that's going to be a huge part of this region. And so we got to capture that business and economic development. So that's going to be a big part of it, of making sure that your mom and dad have a job and you guys have jobs and a place to this community where we can work, live, and play.
So a big key being city councilor too is listening to the people, you guys, your parents, younger generations as well. We need to create more things for you guys to do, to keep vested, to keep the out of your parents' hair for a little while, so to speak. We want to go ahead with infrastructure. We need to get business into this community as well, and that's what I want to look forward to do on city council, is promote our town. I'm proud of Fort St. John. I'm proud to say I'm from here, and I tend to get a little upset when people bash this town. So that's what I want to move forward, promote the city's look and get more people to want to move here, and once they get here, stay here.
So when I look at all of you, there's a lot of different people in the room today, and one of my visions for the community is to be exactly that, a community where we each feel like we belong, where we feel like we are wanted and welcome. And so one of the things that I want to encourage is to continue to make it a diverse and inclusive community where each one of us is accepted for whatever strengths and weaknesses we have, and try and get each one of us involved, share your perspectives, share your point of view, share the challenges that you have, and in that way get more people involved in building our community into a wonderful place for each one of us to live.
As a current member on City Council, I also work with the Chamber of Commerce. My job is to promote and advocate for the community at all levels of government. Doesn't matter if it's municipal, provincial, or federal. I want to see my neighbors working. It's important to see that we build our community right from the roots up. It's working with our nonprofit groups to make sure that all sectors, all interests. Fort St. John is a dynamic community. I mean, yes, we're known as an energetic city, but we have a strong, vibrant arts community as well. In music, we've got some pretty awesome bands out there, and I see a lady in the audience who was entertaining us at the Moose FM block party. I'll advocate for building a strong community. Economic development is important, and it's also important that we work to have post-secondary education opportunities here for you, so that you'll have the choice if you want to stay in Fort St. John to continue your education.
I'm new face, new voice to be running for council. So one of my platforms is that school wouldn't start, to go to school, you wouldn't have to be 15 years of age before you'd start school. I thought you guys would cheer on that. No, I can't do that. I was just wondering if you guys were with me or not. No, so my platform would be economic development in regards to stimulating the community, making sure we have some financial discipline out there. All the questions you ask cost money. And where's that money going to come from? Think about it. Every time that you want something, it costs money. So where are we going to get that money? And how's that going to look like? We have to look at that deeply. And so my presence to you guys is that I will represent you guys and make sure that we have financial discipline moving forward.
Good morning. So I basically have three major things that my platform consists of that I would like to look at and improve within our city. And a lot of your questions that you had asked, thank you so much for contributing to our question period, have to do with those three things. The first one is looking at what we are currently spending money on. Things like cost overruns, different things within our budget that we have control over, that we can try to cut down on these cost overruns to have more money for other things. Once we get that under control, then I'd like to look at what we can put that money into that's actually going to improve things for the average person in Fort St. John. Not looking at major projects at this time, but looking at fixing the basic things that need fixing within our community. And the third thing is consultation that works for everyone. So I know maybe Facebook isn't the biggest, coolest thing for you guys anymore, like it was for my generation, but looking at how you interact and how everybody within our city interacts and how we can get the feedback we need to make sure that we're really taking into consideration everyone's input. Thank you so much for your time.
My platform is quite simple. What I would like to work on is retention, to retain local talents, to retain the youth, people who grow up here or are born here or grow up here, to develop a community which they don't have to leave. And there are two ways I think that would help. One is to offer more courses, more diverse courses in the college, and then bring in more diverse industry so you wouldn't have to leave after you finish college. The second one is, I know this is a very difficult one, to work on improving the shortages in healthcare. That is an extremely difficult problem, but every problem is solvable once you try different things. And I really believe that this would help to keep you here, to keep all the youth that born or grew up here. This is what I would like to see. Thank you.
I've seen this place go from a village to a town to a city. The services that we have, the people that we have in Fort St. John make Fort St. John the energetic city it is today. My platform will be to continue that, to make sure nobody gets left behind, young, old, or the teenagers. Everybody has a place in Fort St. John, and that's what I hope to maintain. It's just something that I do. I've raised my children here. Now I have grandchildren growing up here. I want this city to be the best it is. I love Fort St. John. I'm an ambassador for Fort St. John, and I promote Fort St. John everywhere I go. And I can't promote it if everybody isn't keeping abreast of what's happening. And I don't want anybody left behind. So that's my platform, to make Fort St. John a proud place to call home. Thank you.
Thank you. The question was, what's important to me? Every one of you, every one of your parents, your school teachers, the administrative staff. And it's important that we as a council work together to maintain an environment which would attract businesses, which would employ your parents, employ you, and that we can supply or work to supply and work with the schools to supply the needs of each and every one of you students. Thank you.
Now we will move on to our questions. Each of the candidates will have 90 seconds to respond. What is your plan to address the snow removal and pothole repair process?
Thank you. So let's start with potholes. This last year, council put a lot of money towards pothole machines. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but they were out this summer for the first time. We're now running those on double cycles. Going forward, we will promote more use of those as we basically conquer every pothole throughout the area. And it's working, and it's working well. Secondly, snow removal. Again, it's a yearly change. Some years we have dumps of snow, some years we don't. We ensure that the budget has the reserves in it so that we can handle the snow removal. We ensure that people aren't blocked in their driveways, so it may take a little bit longer. But you know what? When mom and dad are trying to get you guys to school on time so the teachers don't write you up, that matters, and that matters a lot. So we will continue to promote, continue to listen, and continue to educate. Thank you.
I drive a big wooden box, so anytime I hit a pothole, I feel it, and it sucks. So I know where you guys are coming from. So my big push would obviously be to, as Trevor said, keep pushing, make sure that those potholes are fixed, and that we don't have to deal with it, because as we know, potholes just get bigger year after year after year. Snow removal, it's going to be an issue. It's an issue with every city. The thing is, you cannot forecast for what the weather is going to do. Mother Nature can be very nasty at times. So be prepared as much as we can be, and just the biggest thing is having a quick response time. I think the city has done a fairly decent job of keeping the roads safe so far, and just making sure that we continue doing that.
Snow removal, we're moving into the winter months now. A few years back we had public consultation that involved what should our snow removal look like. And some of the options were to get roads clear fast and just get it off the roads, and some of that resulted in, as Trevor had mentioned, driveways being snowed in. There would be big crust, heavy snow at the end of a driveway. So what the public wanted at that point in time was for our staff to take more time to make sure that the roads are done properly and everything is safe, but also not to block in seniors or children or single parents that can't get out of their driveway without digging themselves out, which can take a half hour to an hour long. So that is where our policy is at now, and I think it works well. At times we get a ton of snow, and it takes a little longer for the residential areas to get clear, but there is a number of cities that you have to be aware of that no longer clear snow in residential areas. So I'm proud that our community has not gone that path. Eventually, all the roads do get done. As far as potholes, I grew up here when I was your age. Majority of the roads in Fort St. John, except for 100th and 100th, was gravel roads. Everything was a pothole at that point in time. I really think that we've come a long ways. There's new technology that helps us. Just with our freeze-thaw in a northern winter city, it's going to be an existing challenge until we can pave the roads with, I don't know, kryptonite or something. But we are on it, and we're staying on it, and safety is always the primary concern.
I think largely the city does a pretty good job of snow removal and potholes. I guess I would flip the question back and say, if you want to spend more money on that, it's about the consultation process and looking, if your parents want to do home renovations, that costs money, you got to find that money to do that. So it becomes a degree of importance as to what, if we wanted to have the roads all cleared by 1 a.m. right down to the dirt, that's just going to cost us more money to do so. So I think it becomes a thing of balance in terms of, as Tony alluded to it all, you know, you got to find the money in the budget to do so. So I would say we do a good job of that. We continue to do a good job. It's a challenge we have. And if we wanted to do more pothole report or more snow removal, we have to find the money to do so.
Yeah, snow removal, potholes, it's an ongoing thing. We live where we are. Potholes in the spring are terrible because of our constant frost cycle in here, and people calling into the city and letting them know there will only help fill them and get them filled faster and stuff like that. As far as snow removal, the city's been tweaking that process. You can never please everyone. You're not ever going to please everyone. There's always going to be somebody except. But the city has done stuff like hiring private contractors to help out in some of the residential areas. This winter has seen it a lot. We've seen private loaders and stuff like that helping the city with the snow removal because we did get so much. The city's still working on it, and the city will be working on it for years. That's what we're here for.
So it's been mentioned many times, but we have so much money to work with, and so we have to always prioritize so we can decide whether we want to clear snow faster and clear more of it, or we can put money into other areas. So we just are always making those decisions. One of the things that we can do as a city is decide to make things more efficient and do things better and have a plan, and we do that well. And one of the things that community needs to understand is even in snow clearing, there's priorities, so that we do make sure that roads that need to be open for buses and for first responders, fire, police, ambulance, we make sure those are open, and sometimes that means your local streets, the street that you live on, gets left behind. And if it keeps snowing, we start over with those priority streets, and so sometimes it takes a long time to get to our streets. As far as potholes go, we are trying to build strategies for that as well. And so as the Councillor Boland talked about, we've got something that we call the toaster, and it's a big square piece that melts the asphalt, and actually we can do it throughout the whole year to continue to fill in those potholes. And the other things that we've done is that we used to just fill potholes with a cold asphalt mix, and it just kind of came out right away as soon as it got wet, and now we do it with a hot mix, which may not seem like a big difference, but it does, because it sticks in there and holds it. So we're trying to do things efficiently and as effectively as we can with the money that we have, and try to make sure that we take care of each of our residents and the roads that we drive on.
So potholes and snow clearing. How many of you guys have driven around with an adult who have said a thing or two that can't be repeated here because the teachers will say, not doing that? Right? So snow is a blessing. How many people here like to go skiing and snowmobiling? So Fort St. John, it's an awesome place to live. We've got blessings, and yeah, with it comes a few little hurdles too. The City of Fort St. John, our snow clearing policy, we work with city staff, we try and identify priority routes, what needs to be done first. With our potholes, there's things that I'd like to ask for your help. You've got a cell phone, call 311. You see a pothole, call us up and say, this needs to be looked after. When I'm the youngest, well, I can't say the youngest, I'm the newest councillor, and I thought one of my initiation things that were done to me, I've had the privilege of actually filling a pothole. And I wasn't sure if this was something that they do to the new councillors when they come on board. They say, meet the pot filling, or the pothole crew. So I got to throw in some of the asphalt in there, use the toaster that's been mentioned. So again, when it comes to snow clearing, potholes, we would like to ask for your help on that, and you guys can help make a difference. It does come down to budgeting, sensible budgeting, and trying to plan for what Mother Nature is going to throw our way.
You guys have heard it, it's budgeting. We have to find the money for it. It doesn't come free. There's a wage, someone has to do it. We have to buy the material to look at the potholes and remove the snow. The city's done a great job. You guys have seen the walking tracks that have gone around the community, and they clear them, and the sidewalks, and that's important. But as mentioned before, they have their priority routes that have to be looked after for snow removal, and that gets done. We'd like to sit down and have, as mentioned, numerous, and it'll continue on, we're all in this together. And the only way that we're gonna help each other out is by notifying us councillors, elect or future, of the concerns that you have, consultation. So again, we all have to work on this together.
Roads and snow clearing, it's a topic near and dear to many hearts up here. With regards to the potholes, as several councillors have mentioned, we have that new machine in town. It really comes down to consultation, getting the word out that, hey, you guys can report these. If you see a big pothole somewhere, you have the way to report it, to get the word in, to get it repaired, and you can report that yourselves. You don't need to go to mom and dad to get it reported. If you see something that's a major issue somewhere where you are hanging out on a daily basis, you can go ahead and report that. So getting that word out in that you can be involved in our community in ways other than just voting for those of us who are running. You can also be interactive and letting us know when there are issues within our community that we can fix. And so I'd like to see a lot more getting that word out that in ways that everyone in this city can be involved. With regards to snow clearing, you've heard it from many of the other candidates here. We have a limited budget to work with, and I think the only thing really that we can do at this point, other than just throwing money at it, which I wouldn't support, I think along with most other people, I don't want my taxes to go up due to massive increase in snow removal, but what we can do is look at the policies surrounding the snow clearing and see if it makes sense the way we're doing it, if maybe some of our contractors that are actually doing the work and the city employees have a better idea of what could make it more efficient and within our budget that we have. Thank you very much.
As I said in my introduction, I lived in Vancouver for 25 years. So one of the things I was really amazed about when I moved here is, to me, how efficient and quick the snow removal process was in comparison to Vancouver. In Vancouver, when you have those odd days when you get 5 centimeters of snow, the city is paralyzed, schools are closed. And here, you get 50 centimeters overnight, and the city works. So how would I improve this, since I'm still in my amazement of how well this one works? I really have no idea. I just don't know. Like, in comparison to what I was used to, this is great. That's all I can say about this.
Snow removal. Something that's been overlooked by a lot of people is the fact that in the last 10 years we have doubled our roads in Fort St. John, but we have managed to keep abreast of the snow clearing. I think we do an excellent job at snow clearing. Again, and everybody has mentioned this, it costs money, but we have had boundary expansions, which we expect to eventually be subdivisions or at least roads into industrial and that. Those all come on to our menu or our platter that we have to clean off too. So we have to keep abreast of that, and we have to budget for it, and we have to know how many roads we're going to clear. It's done well, and I don't really have any complaint about it myself. Like I say, I've lived here all my life, and we've waded through some pretty deep snow, and we've had some deep snowfalls, but the city of Fort St. John has done a fabulous job in keeping them clean. When somebody alluded to the fact that there are other cities right close to us that don't even clean their roads, we're doing a fantastic job. As far as potholes go, we're dealing with Mother Nature there. We have the tragedy at the old fort right now. The hill is sloughing. That's the same kind of dirt up here. The roads move a bit, you get a pothole, we got to fill them. We have the machines for it, and I think we're doing an excellent job on it. It probably could be better, but right now we're doing the best we can. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have not much to add. It's been so spoken of so many times. As far as the potholes, more money. One thing about the potholes, which has also been mentioned, is you can go to the website. There's an area there, file a complaint, and you'll get a response within 72 hours. And hopefully it's repaired within 72 hours. As far as snow removal goes, we have gotten better. Can we do better? Possibly we can. One thing that we used to have a program, and it has kind of gone away, and that is what's called snow angels. A lot of our complaints on snow removal come from seniors that cannot get out and shovel their driveways and their sidewalks. I would like to challenge each and every one of you here that if you live close to or next to a senior, when the first snowfall comes, go over and offer to shovel their sidewalk, because it helps them out first and foremost, but it also helps the city out. Thank you.
How will you support the homeless population if elected to council?
When I was your guys' age, or just a little bit older, my dad was homeless, and he was homeless right here in Fort St. John. And what people don't understand is that homelessness gets worse the busier the town gets. So what we need to ensure that we do is be open, have communication, and be able to listen to what is going on and support our social programs. Without us supporting people to prop themselves up, everybody falls. So be someone who supports someone today. Thanks.
Like I've said, many communities, I've seen many different things. Medicine Hat, where I grew up, 2 years straight, they've been homeless free. They have a program where they work really hard, taking people off the street, giving them a place to live, feeding them, and it's actually been better for their health care. It's less strain on their health care, less strain on their policing. So I do think it's a big thing that we need to push for, because it will be more beneficial for our community in the long run. I've lived in communities where you couldn't walk anywhere without seeing a homeless person. So I think Fort St. John has an issue. We saw a report that just came out, and it's something that we can address. It's something that we can work on fixing. If we don't have the ideas, or we don't have the know-how on how to do it, reach out to communities like Medicine Hat that have worked hard at eliminating homeless. It's not a perfect plan, but it's something to work forward to.
Vulnerable people within our community is something that's very important to all of us. The strength of a community is in helping each other. As council members, we have the opportunity to learn about and work with a lot of not-for-profit groups where these people are trained and they have specialized education to try and help different populations within our community, and homeless is one of them. And so we have our Women's Resource Society, and we have the Salvation Army, and several of those, of which we're closely connected. We fund, and we help to try to make things easier for those people to do their jobs, which in turn betters our community. Thank you.
As you guys well know, the boom and bust cycle of Fort St. John, as Trevor alluded to, yeah, the busier it gets, the bigger that problem comes. So the challenge becomes of having affordable housing for people to go to, and having employment opportunities, and supporting the frontline agencies like the homeless shelter and stuff like that is where the council can come in. But as a community, we can also, you know, our volunteerism is a big part of that, of propping up people that are homeless and the challenges they have. So city council can do a lot. Like I said, affordable housing is one of them. Getting people a job is another one. But also as a community, we can volunteer and we can help as well. So.
Yeah, as a city councilor, that's one of my hopes too, is to work with these nonprofits to help. I don't think we'll ever eliminate the issue of homeless, but work towards an elimination. But I guess the question that we have to ask yourself, and you need to ask yourself, what are you doing about it? Think about it. Bring those ideas to your city council. Bring these things to a meeting like this. Ask, keep asking this question, what are we doing? Together, we can fix the issue. Each of us all have a voice. And that's what will make it better. We can't fix it until we identify the problem together, and working with nonprofits, volunteering with the nonprofits. That's the only way it's going to get that problem like that. Throwing money at it isn't going to fix the problem, but helping, volunteering where we can, that will.
I said right at the beginning that one of my desires is to see us build this community and where we all belong and where we all feel welcome and wanted. And I think a big part of that is taking care of each one of us, no matter where we're at in that whole social ladder thing. And the homeless people in our community, they need our help where they're at. So we need to be providing those kinds of services to take care of them while they are homeless. But then also looking at solutions for them and finding, as has been said, you know, finding housing for them that is affordable, helping them find jobs. A lot of that, the city itself, that's not our role. But what our role is to try to support those organizations and work in partnership with organizations that have the expertise, that have the funding sometimes, that have the ideas. And I'm hoping that you all will get involved on that level, even as you go through your school years and you are out of school, that you'll get involved at that level with some organizations in our community that will help take care of each other, take care of the homeless, and help us resolve some of these issues.
The thought of being homeless probably hasn't occurred to a lot of us here. But statistically, you could be a paycheck away. As an adult myself, if I lost my job, if I got sick, how would I pay my bills? I think it's important that when you see someone in our vulnerable population, you show them respect. Respect because they're someone's family. There are things that we can do to help, working with our nonprofit organizations such as the Salvation Army, the Women's Resource Center, just reaching out, just even asking someone, hey, how's your day? How's it going? I'd like to encourage you, if you have an opportunity, to work with some of these organizations, and I do recognize some people here that I have seen helping out, whether it's collecting food, bringing in food to share with the food bank, whether it's spending some time at the Salvation Army or with the Women's Resource Center. It's a fantastic opportunity for you to learn something about your community, but it's also a fantastic way for you to build your resume and meet other business people. So again, I just ask you, always think twice when you see someone in the vulnerable sector. We don't know what brought them there, but we could help them achieve greater standards of living. And as for the City of Fort St. John, part of our advantages is that we are out in the public, so we can help get the message out. When we know somebody needs help, we can get that message out, and I hope you guys will assist with that.
There's no right or wrong answer how we're going to deal with this. There's nothing that we can, there's a whole bunch of great ideas that you guys have thought about in the classes, and we've talked to your parents and other parents and grandparents about it, but nothing's right and nothing's wrong. They're ideas, and we have to get all those ideas and work with them. You got to remember that homeless people are looking for help, support. Money's not going to help them. We have to support them. So the ideas that we come up with today or in the future are going to be ideas that we've thought about, or maybe we've talked to someone about. And that's really what it takes, because you guys understood, or if maybe talked to someone in that circumstance, and you know what it takes. For me to say, let's throw a whole bunch of money out to them, that doesn't fix it. It's support, to get around each other, to help each other. And to make sure we got the right leaders, to make sure that those avenues are available to them, and that we hear those voices. Because if we don't hear the voices, we don't know what's going on. So make sure when you do hear a voice, listen. Regardless of what we stand for, you guys are going to make the difference. Listen, because it's important. They need someone to listen to. Thank you.
First off, I'd just like to say, whoever submitted this question, thank you so much. It's really important to have these conversations, and it's not a topic that is typically discussed in a forum like this, because a lot of people don't want to talk about it. A lot of the population, they just want to pretend it doesn't happen, and so I really, really appreciate that whoever submitted this question, that it's brought up within our community, because this is important stuff. I've spent quite a bit of time speaking with representatives from the Women's Resource Center, Salvation Army, and what isn't very well known within our community is just how much demand there is currently on their services, and that is only going to increase within the coming years, as people have mentioned previously, within the boom and bust of our society. As things get busy, people at the bottom tend to get forgotten, and it's important for us to make sure that we are giving them all the support that we can. The nonprofits within our society, they know base level what's going on a lot better than a lot of us do, and so giving that opportunity for them to lend their voice and tell us what they need and how we can support them, and also being able to advocate for them to get the support they need from other levels of government. The Women's Resource Society, for example, lost their funding, their federal funding, a number of years ago and haven't had it back since. It's important for us to advocate on their behalf to make sure that they are getting the resources they need to help our homeless population. Thank you.
To provide a place to stay, it is a great first step, but I strongly believe that a very good second step would be to find the cause. Why are these people on the street, and try to work on that, try to help them by getting rid of the cause. And we have to work together with the health authority, social services, and all the non-profits to do so, as well as a community as one. I really believe the cause, once we get rid of the cause, then we can say that we did help the homeless, and we will not have, I cannot promise we will not have any more homelessness, but we will have much less. Thank you.
Thank you. As I said in my platform, I want Fort St. John to move ahead and nobody left behind. That includes the homeless people. The city advocates to the Salvation Army, to other agencies, and they try and help them as much as possible. Those are the ones that will be looking after the homeless people. It's up to everybody here to either volunteer at the Salvation Army or, you know, deliver food to the food bank, but we have to keep some sort of even keel so that these people know that there is help out there and they can reach it and they can actually come off the streets and be productive citizens. There are agencies out there that will take somebody on and actually show them what's available to them in the way of work, in the way of courses that they can take to get work. And that's what I plan on doing, is advocating to all our agencies that we have to maintain this and we have to get them off the street. Thank you very much.
One of the jobs of council is to listen, not only to, in this case, the homeless people, but that's very, very important, but there was a comment that the City of Medicine Hat has a really good program. I can tell you, if I get reelected, go back, I'm going to look into that program. What are they doing that we're not doing? And how can we make that happen in Fort St. John? I had said earlier how it's my intention that we build that environment where business comes and creates employment. But along with business, there's more taxpayers, we're allowed to do more things. There's also the need of the investigation into the homeless people themselves. Some are homeless, I'm not going to say because they want to, but there are options for them, but they have other issues such as mental issues that which we're not trying to deal with, but we can work together with the health authority in assisting them and hopefully steering them the right way. Thank you.
So this is going to be the final question. Candidates have 45 seconds to respond. If elected, are you committed to supporting the construction of new amenities for teens? Some examples would be a new arcade, a soccer pitch, or skating rinks. So I own 8 or 9 businesses, some here in Fort St. John, some in other provinces, some in other countries. What brings business is not cities building businesses. What brings businesses is cities advocating for businesses, is cities setting tax rates so that businesses can afford to operate efficiently. When we're looking at Fort St. John, we need to look at what will bring arcades and what will bring new things for everyone to do. Teens, people my age, kids, my kids, I've got one your guys' age, one younger. But we need to make sure that Fort St. John is healthy and is able to promote. So every time that your city council goes away or gets a phone call of a new high-end arcade or something like that, you guys need to have somebody who knows what to tell them, who knows how much our business taxes have dropped compared to other communities, so that they can come here, they can make money, they can employ people, and they can give you guys something to do in your spare time, which we all need. So continue getting involved and be a part of that and support your local businesses. Thanks, guys.
On Saturday, I was standing under the CN Tower in Toronto and looked across the street, and there's a big place called the Rec Room. And what it was a big arcade meant for adults and also children until 11 p.m. I don't know who was more excited, myself or my 3.5-year-old, but we had one heck of a time, I'll tell you that much. So having something like that for you guys not only is for you, but it's for adults and young professionals that come to this community to work, and for them to keep busy after hours. Now the thing is, as Trevor mentioned, these things are private businesses. We could have a trampoline park, you could have a rock climbing wall, you could have an arcade, but the thing is they're private businesses. So we need you to promote and also tell us what you want. You have to be more vocal. You have to go on Facebook, create a Facebook group and say, you know, get everybody to follow it and say, this is what we want. We have 1,000 kids that want a trampoline park, and I'm sure some business owner will say, hey, I got an opportunity here to bring something forward. You know, I've mentioned There's the multiplex. I think that's a great opportunity, not for just you guys, but also for adults like myself. I had one in Calgary that I went to all the time at 25 years old, playing basketball with junior high students. So it's not just for you, it's for everybody in the community, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to move forward as a community. Thank you.
To the question, yes, we want more amenities, more things to make our community shiny and special and fun, and want your involvement. Something that comes to mind immediately for me, would be the skateboard park. That started with a conversation of 3 15-year-olds that wanted a new skateboard park. And they went about connecting with our sports council and connecting with council and connecting with other people who had connections in order to get drawings done, have it built, and they had input right from day one until the ribbon was cut on it. And to me, that is how all of our amenities should be. What you want, what you think our community needs and that you will use and enjoy and brag about our community, we want to hear it. You can get involved with the Youth Advisory Council. They speak directly to council. Myself and a few other councillors attend those meetings regularly. You can have input in your community and tell us what amenities you want.
If I'm elected, I will build a rink for the Vancouver Canucks. No, I'm just joking, but no, it's as you guys said, it's important. Private businesses will come here if we shop local. We create an environment for businesses to be in, and more businesses will be attracted, arcades, etc., to that. Like I alluded to before, the multiplex or the pool that we could see happen is going to be a great opportunity for you guys to get involved and say what you want to have, more dry floor space, more basketball courts, stuff like that. So that's going to be an opportunity for you guys to get involved and with the new pool and the consultation on that. So please get involved in that. And when it's, like I said, when it comes to arcades and stuff like that, private businesses do that. And if you shop local, you promote an environment where businesses will thrive and more businesses will come. So it's that's how it works. Thanks very much.
Yeah, we all want more amenities for the teens, for the children, and young adults to play and do stuff in town. But we need the business. We need either corporate or something like that. We need the people in town. You want to build those amenities without rising taxes, without that. Unfortunately, most of that will come from the private sector. It'll be, if the companies see the need from it, wow, Fort St. John's booming, we need to be there, and we need more because we're bringing kids with us. Maybe my company can help sponsor something. That's the kind of how that stuff is going to get built. Arcades, I mean, when I was growing up here in this town, there was 4 arcades all within walking distance of North Peace next door. So we spent a lot of our lunch hours there. We weren't creating mischief. So yes, we need those amenities, we need in town, but we need the people to support it. We need the people to bring the ideas to City Council, make the proposals, and then it'll happen.
City Council has worked, I think, really hard and strategically to put some of those amenities in place. You look at the Kids Arena Field House that was opened not that long ago. The skate park has been mentioned. Just recently we opened the new community gym at the Ma Murray School, which we partnered with our school district to build a gym that is oversized, that can house some other activities and can be used by our whole community. So we're doing what we can strategically. One of the challenges with building and constructing a new facility, you can get that funding sometimes for construction, but the real challenge is in the operations. And so sometimes we have to be careful that we don't just build something and say we're going to build this structure and then who's going to operate it and who's going to pay for it. So we have to be careful in that. One of the things I would just challenge you is rather than looking always at something new, building something new, look at what we've already got. I look at your school and I look at the usage of the school. Maybe there's a way that you can adapt some room or some area of this school to put some of those amenities right here in your own school, and just challenge you to come up with some creative ideas to provide those amenities without necessarily building something new. Thanks.
Having a strong and vibrant community is a win-win, not only for the community, but also for businesses. If we have a strong community, it's easier for businesses to attract our skilled workers that we need here, our doctors, our dentists, our pharmacists, our teachers. Parents come and they have their own interests and needs. Their children have needs, sometimes special needs. We have the Child Development Center that has some functions that make Fort St. John attractive over other communities. As for building a new leisure center, it is something that our community is looking at, and we're looking at partnering with the regional district on that. And we do pop-up tents, we have discussions. The biggest part about building our community is listening to our community, listening to you. When we have pop-up tents, please come up and talk to us and say, you know what, this is an idea that we would like to do. Get in touch, even Sunrise Rotary. They have adopted the Finch skating rink, and every winter they try and fill it with ice. There's been a few times we've technically flooded an apartment across the road, or at least the road of it, with ice. You know, good intentions. We're still learning how to flood a rink, but Fort St. John does have a lot of activities, and sometimes just getting in touch, find out from our sports center, hey, what's happening? We've got ping pong, we've got our soccer pitch, things for kids, but I think it's also important to think about our seniors. You're not there yet. I'm closer to that demographics, heading that way. So it's important for our community to think not only about the wee little ones, but also our senior citizens. So I encourage you to give feedback to the City of Fort St. John and work with nonprofit groups to build our community stronger. Thanks.
Wow, what a great question. There are a lot of business people in this crowd, and it's great to see, because you guys thought of this, and that means you're thinking about it down the road, and you have ideas right now for business that you're thinking about, and how do I go about getting that done? That's the big thing. It's not the arcades. It's your ideas. You all have an idea, whether it's a racing car track or a gun range or a place to play board games. You all have these ideas, but how do you make it happen? We have to provide those avenues for you, just as we have to do for the existing businesses and the future business that you guys are thinking about. And if we don't do that, we've failed, because you guys all want this community to grow. And you guys all have a business idea, whether it's going to employ your buddy, your neighbor, it's going to happen. And when that happens, our community grows. And when our community grows, we become and stay the energetic city of the peace. Thank you.
We've got a few other people touch on the difficulties businesses have coming into town, and just being able to encourage businesses to make Fort St. John their home, open a new business in town, and provide more things for people to do and to shop at in town. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. That's been gone over quite a bit here. But what I would like to speak about on this topic is being able to get those ideas, as Tony said, from you guys, and get them into community consultation in a way that works at your level, where you're at, and get those ideas from you brought to council. You've got the Youth Advisory Council, but how else can we get that information from you? How else can we be able to understand what it is that you all want to see in our community? And those are ideas that I would very much like to hear. Thank you.
Once we know what you guys want, the only thing that the City Hall can do is connect businesses with your ideas. Maybe even help them to find grants or some additional funds. But as Becky said, and most of the candidates here, the ideas have to come from you, and then the solutions to get those ideas become reality, then we can work together a little bit. As I said earlier, my platform is retention, that the youth of this community stays here. And I know that in order to stay here, you have to grow up in a community in which you have fun, in which you have things to do. And I really believe that this is what all of us want to work on. Thank you.
I know there's been talk about the different types of things that we have, the skateboard park, the hockey rinks, the field house and everything else. It's all fairly structured. When I was growing up here as a teenager, we had dances. They would just pop up out of nowhere. Sometimes they were at the Purple Pit, sometimes they were at the place. A lot of them were held in school gyms just for something to do on a Friday night. That's what I would like to see, is more unstructured stuff for the teens, where they can just go and enjoy themselves. They don't have to compete with anybody and just have a good time. Now what that is could be anything. Could be just a meeting place, could be a dance, could be whatever. At this time I'd like to do some blatant advertising on behalf of the museum. On October the 19th, we have Halloween night for the teens at the museum. We've always reached out to the younger children and to the seniors, but we've never touched the teens. This will be an opportunity for you to come down to the museum, learn about the history of Halloween, learn about the history of Fort St. John. These are the kind of things that we should have going for the teens. I know at one time there was one of the churches that always opened their hall on a Friday night for a dance, or just you could sit around and talk to people. That's what I would like to advocate, is for some unstructured fun for the teenagers. And remember, October the 19th at 7 p.m. at the museum. You'll learn all about the history of Halloween. Thank you very much.
Well, being number 12 on the list, it's hard to come up with any new ideas, but it's been said many times, it's the environment. We need to create the environment to attract these type of things. We need to create the environment which makes you or your parents want to invest. It comes down to money, but it's been said many, many times, there's a lot of entities within this community which are not being used to their fullest. I would like to hear from you, and if you want to email me, you can do that, your ideas. What are your ideas? What would you like to see happen in Fort St. John on weekends and different things? I'm not going to guarantee I can offer them, but I want to hear, I want to listen to you. So thank you for the question, and thank you for this opportunity again this morning.
Okay. Thank you, candidates and media. We are very lucky that all of you made time to come speak to us today. We wish the best of luck in the upcoming election. Students, these issues are important, and we must do our part as active citizens to make our world a better place. Asking tough questions, voicing concerns, and providing solutions are just some small steps we can do to take our part.